Hey everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. Well, how's that for timing? My dogs all started howling the second the show started. That had nothing to do with me. There's just some sirens going down the road, and that's what happens to my dogs. It makes them howl. So, sorry about that. Hopefully they settle that down really soon. That literally started the second we went live. I am excited to be here. I hope that you guys are having a good day. Let's do our little bit of housekeeping. I'm going to ask a family member here to see if they can quiet those dogs down a little bit. And we'll move onward. I guess that's the downside sometimes of living with all these dogs, but I don't think I'd trade it. You're listening to the Katie Weaver Show. We are live. It is the 8th of August already. It is 10 a.m. Pacific, and I'm really happy to be here. I want to let you know that we're over in the chat room. You can find me over at 12radio.com. Click on the chat button, and you'll be redirected into the Facebook chat. It's a private group, and if you have never joined before, you will definitely have to ask for entry, but Christy's standing by and she'll gladly let you in the room. So that's how to do it. I am doing Facebook Live today as well, and so you can find the Facebook Live right there in the group. And I promise you want to join me in the Facebook Live today because I have somebody really special to meet today. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to find the Facebook Live before I do that so that you don't get left out. But we got a new little member of our family over the weekend. I talked about this a little last week about the possibility of it. And so you guys know that I have a mini piglet, a Juliana painted pig named Fiona, who is 7 months old now. Well, the breeder of Fiona texted me, said she had some little boys that needed homes and wondered if we would be interested. And initially I thought, there's no possible way I'm bringing another pig home. Fiona is a very busy girl. We love her, but she is wild. But the more we thought about it, the more we wondered if it would be good for her to have a companion besides the dogs. Partly because when we go places, she ends up alone. And maybe it's the cancer or the bleeding heart in me or the whatever it is, but it's a Cancerian trait, I know. But it makes me sick to think of anyone being lonely or being alone. So we decided on Saturday to go out to the breeder and just look. Not bringing anybody home, just going to take a little look-see, right? Famous last words probably, right? Well, we fell in love with an adorable little painted piggy who is a little teeny guy. His name, well, we named him Ziggy. We had a little argument about that because Scott really wanted to name him Shrek so that Fiona would have her Shrek. But it got voted down by the girls in the house who really wanted to name him Ziggy. I call him Ziglet the piglet. So I'm going to go ahead and let Matea bring him over here so that you guys in the Facebook Live can get a little peek at him. He is about 6 pounds. He's the size of our little chihuahuas right now. He's orange, kind of an orangish red. He has a lot of gray. His little muzzle is mostly gray, or his little snout is mostly gray. Of course, he's a real oinker, because that's what they do. Let's see if he'll let us see all of his stripes and spots. He's a little stripy spotty guy. That's why they call him Juliana. All right, we've had enough. They love being held up to the camera, as you can see. So that's Ziglet the piglet. That's our new little addition. I just wanted to share him with you guys. He is a ton of fun. He's a little sweetheart that wants to be cuddled all the time. So he wants to be loved, but he also absolutely adores Fiona and goes everywhere she goes and just basically hangs off her every word, does what she does, which isn't always a good thing. Trying to unload the dishwasher with the two of them is 100% impossible. But, or load the dishwasher, but we're having a ball with him. I think, I don't think we'll regret this. It seems like a good match, and Fiona absolutely loves him. They spend every waking moment together, either traipsing around the house getting into stuff, or sleeping on the couch, or their latest is they've started sleeping in their ball pit quite a bit, which is really funny, or in the backyard, you know, rooting and getting into stuff and eating grass. And there's not one dandelion in my backyard, you guys. Those pigs do not allow dandelions. They've eaten every one. there's some morning glory that they've been really hacking at. So I guess they're just going to be natural little weed eaters. They're hole diggers too, though. So, you know, there's a trade-off there. But anyway, well, thanks for indulging me. I wanted to share Ziggy with you guys. Lots of fun. So I want to let you know that I have plenty of room today built into the show for some readings. So if you need a reading, I would love to help you out. I probably won't get to all of you, but I definitely will keep an eye. So you're welcome to put up a request in the chat and we'll see what we can do. So the reading, a healing, some animal communication, whatever it is. Okay. Really quick, because it showed up in the chat. If you guys put a question up in the Facebook live chat, it goes away really fast and I might miss it. But Amy, I know that we have discussed this a few times, so I want to get to it. So she said, update on selling my house. Got a new offer and we're in contract. Any insights to share? I think this is the one, Amy. It feels to me like this one's going to stick. I do feel like this buyer is not nearly as knee-jerky as the last one, or jerky, and easier to work with, and truly has their ducks in a row. So I feel like this is the one. So there may be a few things that you have to concede on and do, but I know that you're willing to do that to get the house sold. But you know, you have to stand up for yourself and your interests too. They are not going to be so squirrely that they jump out at the first hint of anything. So you can have some safety there. So good. That's so exciting. Very good. Alrighty. So let's get into some of our regular stuff. Oh, I want to let you know that we're on sale today over at 1-2-Listen. So that's exciting. I love Wednesday sales because then I get to talk about them on the air. So I'll be there for the rest of the day and into the evening. We have a viewing tonight. One of our aunts has passed away, and it's a bittersweet one. She was in really rough shape and I know was just ready, but I don't think that makes it any easier for her family, and her family's obviously heartbroken and struggling. She and our Uncle Theron were married for 52 years. Isn't that something? 52 years. So lots of love to that family, and so I'll have to pop out for a little while tonight to go and honor her life with them, and then I'll be back. But anyway, I'll be around most of the day though. I personally have been busy sewing curtains. As you know, we're working on this camper project, and I have been in an epic battle for survival with my sewing machine. I have invented new swear words with that sewing machine. I kind of feel like the dad from that movie, A Christmas Story, when he goes down and fixes the furnace and you hear all this language coming up, you know, and it's like, rick'em, rack'em, frick'em, frack'em. That's how I feel with the sewing machine. It's a miracle it hasn't landed in the front yard yet. I just need her at this point, so we're just going to have to keep working it out. But I thought that I wanted to use some pretty fancy fabric for these curtains. And I know I won't regret it when they're done and hung up, but right now I could punch my own self in the face because it is so hard to work with and the sewing machine hates it. So anyway, send me lots of good sewing vibes because I clearly need them. Sometimes I wonder what made me think that I had that many skills in sewing. I actually don't. But I'll have them when this is all done. That's for dang sure. So patience is a virtue and it's all going to be okay. And Mercury in retrograde is not ruining my sewing machine. I am ruining my sewing machine. It's going to be all right, right? Of course. Okay. Okay. Well, let's jump into a few things. First off, the magazine. I'm going to put a link in the chat room. This is Luminous Magazine that I publish at the first of every week. And it, of course, is a compilation of work between me and several of my colleagues over at 12listen.com, which is a lot of fun. And so I want to show you. It's a new month, so we get a new cover. And I love this cover so much. It is so pretty. It's sunflowers. And I'm loving it. Really pretty. So let's look at a few things in the magazine that I want to make sure that you get to see. And then we'll keep pressing onward. All right. I called this week Ascension is Everything because I just keep hearing that word lately in readings from clients, in meditation. It just keeps coming up. And I feel like we do go through periods where we are ascending, our frequency is increasing. It can be uncomfortable as hell. It challenges old beliefs. It challenges old things that you're holding on to. Frankly, the ascension process is hard sometimes, and it can be really not fun sometimes. And it's a process that we're moving through or going through. And I feel like for the very most part, when we say the word ascension, people think of love and light all the time, and I don't really think that's true. I think that ascension means that you are willing to or have reached a point in your own spiritual growth where you can let go of some old paradigms, and it gives you some freedom, but it can be very painful in the process. So ascension is everything. That is in supporting ourselves. It's in supporting each other. I think it's in being very patient, not with just yourself, but with the people around you who might really be in the middle of something. We're in it without question. Okay. And then the Domestic Mystics Daily Dish. Now, of course, this is the readings that I start putting out every Monday. They are also published as a daily reading on my Instagram, which is Domestic Mystic on Instagram. And I would love for you to follow me over there and just get to pick up the daily reading. You can also find it on my Facebook page, my fan page, which is Katie Weaver, Domestic Mystic. But I'm going to share it with you. And I'm actually going to go back this week and give you the whole week because I think it might give you a little reflection as to where your week has gone so far. So starting with Monday, buckle up your seatbelts. Today is going to be a wild ride. You will likely be shocked when 5 o'clock comes and amazed at what you did not get accomplished today. Time is flying and you are just doing the best you can. Do your most important tasks first today and make sure that you actually get to them. Tuesday. If today had a key word, it would probably be courage. This is a day that you have to be willing and able to stand up for yourself. If you don't, you may very well end up feeling resentful and angry at those around you. Be clear with your words and your intentions. Now, Wednesday, that's today, you will be especially sensitive to all of the subtle vibrations around you, particularly in exchanges with others. Just because you get a vibe from someone does not mean you can get your feelings hurt. Remember that what others think of you is none of your business. And I know we've all felt that way sometimes. And the truth is, you guys are very sensitive. You're mostly empathic. And I know that you'll get a vibe from someone that without a spoken word that sometimes leads you into kind of a dark place, right? Of deciding that you are hated by someone or somebody doesn't like you or someone's talking about you. And those things could be true. But unless they have willfully offended you, you don't get to be angry and you don't get to be hurt. You can chalk it up to experience and maybe recognize that, okay, maybe we don't really match, and that's okay. That doesn't mean you have to work harder, right? That doesn't mean you have to work harder. It may mean that you want to reflect on, where am I with this person, and am I at peace? And if you're not, maybe there is something you want to change. But this isn't an opportunity for you to, self-reflection's good, but a bunch of self-judgment isn't going to help you any. But be very careful with that vibe. I spent so many years so hurt by my mother-in-law because of the vibes that she gave me. And when I read the 4 agreements, it really made me pause and consider the fact that very rarely had she ever actually said anything to my face. She had given me shade at times, I think, and I'd heard many things from other people about things she was saying about me, which was a part of the problem, I think. But a lot of it was what I was just picking up from her, and the disdain I was picking up from her. And I really had to come to a place of going, you know what? I think this is about her and not really about me, because I knew what my efforts had been. And could I have done better? Maybe I could have. I'm not letting myself off the hook, but I finally came to realize that her issues were more her issues, and that I didn't get to just constantly be angry at her and frustrated with her for what she had not said. That wasn't fair either. There's a lot of freedom in deciding that you don't care what other people think of you, and deciding that it's not your business to know whether or not they like you. Thursday. What is one of your traits that you fear or loathe the most? Envy, impatience, the green-eyed monster, a sarcastic inner dialogue? Whatever it is, you will likely see a bit of it come to the surface today. Instead of getting frustrated with yourself, evaluate this trait for its usefulness in your life and why it triggers shame in you. And I think that's the biggest piece, right? Why does it trigger shame in you? Is there a core belief here? What were you told when you were little? What were you told by teachers, by parents, by family members? A big one for me is being bossy. Because I think as a little one, we heard, don't be bossy. No one likes a bossy little girl. Or heard references to women about, well, she's just the ball buster. She's just bossy. She's just pushy. And so as little girls, you strive to not be that thing. And then as an adult, sometimes, guess what? You have to be bossy, especially as a mother. You have to be able to take charge. You have to be able to direct traffic. And that's been one for me that triggers shame in me sometimes. That idea that being assertive is being bossy and is something to be looked down on. And I've had to really work on myself with that one and work through it. We have a couple that we used to spend quite a bit of time with, and some of Scott's family, that there are some of those people that can't ever make a decision. And so, like, we'd get in the car to go out to dinner, and we couldn't make a decision on where to go because nobody would make a suggestion. They would say, oh, I don't care, wherever's fine. And Scott didn't want to be, too pushy and make a decision too. And I felt like every time we hung out with them, I would end up finally saying, okay, fine, then let's go to Olive Garden, or whatever, because I couldn't stand the fact that we'd been talking for 30 minutes and still couldn't make a decision about where to go. And then I would judge myself and feel like I was being pushy and I was being bossy, and maybe they didn't even like Olive Garden, and maybe I was just, pushing my agenda off on everybody. And I finally had to come to a place of peace with that and realize that it's okay for me to have an opinion. It's also okay for them to have an opinion, and had they had one, I could have honored that. I do frequently. I'm not hard to please, but they didn't, and I did. And that doesn't mean that I was being a bitch. It just meant that that's how that's how that interpersonal exchange or relationship happened. And it took me a long time to get okay with being too much, right? Too bossy, too assertive, whatever. It's not really a part of the shadow. Is there a shadow? I don't know. We hear that word a lot. Maybe there is. Maybe it's just a part of you that needs more attention, that needs you to pay attention to what's going on in your life. But that's what Thursday is all about. If you feel like you have some kind of a inner dialogue happening that is triggering shame, is triggering self-judgment, or some kind of a core belief, and you want some help with it, then call me and let's clear it. Let's get rid of it. Let's create something new in its place that helps you to really relax, let yourself off the hook a little more, to love you, to embrace you. Wouldn't that be nice, right? Okay. Friday. We missed a day. Friday. Something that you've been working on is falling apart. You have been swimming upstream and working so hard. It's time to see the writing on the wall. Stop struggling. Lay it down for now. You may come back to this later, but timing is not on your side. Sometimes you just have to come into that place, right? If you have been fighting really hard to force something to happen, sometimes you just need to walk away. I see this in Scott. Scott's a mechanic by trade, and the man can fix anything. He's a carpenter, he's a plumber, he's an electrician. He can do it all. But sometimes he'll run into a problem that he can't solve. And he'll puzzle and he'll puzzle and he'll spend hours and hours and hours online researching, and he'll puzzle some more, and maybe he'll call his dad and talk it out with him, and he'll puzzle some more, and then he'll put it away for a day or two, and suddenly lightning will strike, and he'll finally have a wave or a flash and realize that he was looking at it wrong, or that the inspiration didn't come because he was trying too hard, and he'll go back to that project and he'll finish it and fix it and it'll be done. And I think we have to do that with life sometimes. It doesn't mean a goal is unattainable. Sometimes the timing just isn't quite right. Sometimes you're not seeing it through the right lens. Sometimes you need a break. All right, Saturday. The despair of yesterday has dissolved into a sunny new day. You have new ideas brewing and can see the light at the end of the tunnel. You may also discover that you have more financial resources than you realized. Whether you find an extra 20 in an old purse or get an unexpected check in the mail, life is good. I love that. I hope you get an unexpected check in the mail. Hell, I hope I get an unexpected check in the mail. But I'd take an extra 20 out of an old purse too. That's always fun. All right, Sunday. This is likely the highest frequency day this week. You are high on life today and you don't care who knows it. Gather up some friends and find some fun today. You can worry about laundry and dishes later. That sounds a lot like a road trip, doesn't it? All right. And then moving on, I have a reading special that I'm really excited about. I'm pouring down the Powerade today. Do you see this? If you're wondering. Powerade. So I have a problem with being able to store calcium. I have a parathyroid issue. So it's a long and dumb story, but I really struggle with calcium sometimes, especially in the summer. And because of that, then I struggle with electrolytes. And so I have tried so many different electrolytes, and I have tried the organic coconut water ones. I have tried Gatorade. I have tried sugar-free things. I have tried sugar-in things, and nothing makes me feel better than Powerade does. And this morning I got up, and while I was in the shower, I started feeling kind of cruddy, and I thought, no, I think I overdid it a little yesterday. I think I need some electrolytes in my system this morning. And something about a little bottle of Powerade absolutely is like pouring sunshine into my body. So I get to set the coffee aside and go for a Powerade today. But I do want to just point out, never underestimate the power of electrolytes. If you've been out in the sun much, if you've been working, if you've been sweating, or even if you've just been in the summer, as we all have, don't forget a little electrolyte to download in your body every once in a while. You will be amazed at how much better it makes you feel. They're definitely not just for athletes. Anyway, that's my little soapbox about it. But yep, there's a lot of sugar. Yeah, Cece said how much sugar's in it. There's a lot, unfortunately. Let's see, 34 grams, which is a ton. But the sugar-free stuff is so awful for my body. My body hates it so much that I bite the bullet and take the sugar. That's why I do the little guys. You can buy those huge ones. Holy moly. That's too much sugar for anybody. But yeah, they do have a lot. And I've heard other people say they love the Powerade Zeros, but the processed sugar or the sugar substitute stuff, my body responds violently to it, unfortunately. Anyway, okay, that was a sidebar. Let's talk about this reading. Okay, the reading is called, and some of you will get this, gonna go back to school again, right? I know, I think I'm funny. You guys know what that song is from, right? My kids didn't. I was laughing yesterday about this reading, about how much I love it, how much I love the title of it, and they had no idea why it was so great. Well, duh, Grease, hello. Most of us know. The cool kids know, right? Okay. It's a 20-minute time-based service. Attention parents, it's the most wonderful time of the year. Time to send your kids back to school. This is a special reading for us to check in with each of your kids to get a feel for what they need to have a successful school year. We will explore learning styles, energy/empathy, and social/friend considerations. So, I'm excited about this reading because I do a lot of this for you guys over at When to Listen as it is. We talk about your kids all the time and check in with them on various things. And I thought it might be fun to just do a back to school check-in kind of reading. So I'm going to put the link to it in the chat room. You can find it over at whentolisten.com in my, we can find it over at whentolisten.com in my time-based services. And it's just a 20-minute time-based service, so we can check in with your kids. And hey, if we're done checking in with your kids and we've got more time, then we'll check in with you too. But I love it. I think that this is going to be a fun reading and a good way to kind of get your finger on the pulse of what's happening with your kids and what kind of school year to expect and what to do to be ready to help support them in the best way that you can. So I'm excited about that. Alrighty. Then we have our crystal guidance. Our crystal guidance comes from Christy. She's a master crystallologist, and this week it is yellow jasper. Yellow jasper supports joy and brings a sense of contentment and confidence. And then, of course, she also pulls a card from her energy oracle deck. And the energy oracle deck is the solar plexus card. So the solar plexus card is self-worth, identity, personal power, poor sense of self, a poor sense of self and lack of identity, and mental weakness. The crystal is honey calcite, and the meditation is, I know who I am, I know what I want, I deserve to be happy. I love that. I know who I am, I know what I want, I deserve to be happy. Isn't that wonderful? I love that. Okay. There's a wonderful, wonderful article from Kai. It's called, Am I Going Mad? Talking about people hitting that ascension point, hitting that point where they're seeing more, they're experiencing more, their gifts are changing. You guys have probably all been there at some point. She has a lot of great advice about how to check in with that. And I wanted to bring your attention to that article because it is fabulous. But I just wanted to read the very last quote in it. Mad Hatter, am I going mad? Alice, yes, you're mad. Bonkers, off the top of your head. But I'll tell you a secret. All of the best people are. And that, of course, is from Lewis Carroll's Alice Adventures in Wonderland. Wonderful article, Kai. Thank you. You guys read it. It will give you some ideas. It will give you it also will give you a tool to share with friends and family who might be starting to go through something like this themselves. Every once in a while, we have a slew of people on the planet that start to go through some kind of an ascension process themselves. And then they don't know what to do with themselves. And they start talking to people like you and me that have been there and done that for some advice. And so I think Kai's article is a brilliant place for them to start. Okay. Then I just wanted to point out there are articles from Kelly McLean. I'm talking about boundaries in a little different way. The tip of the week is the spider bite roll-on. 'Tis the season for spiders, huh? My goodness, I've had a lot in my office lately. And I'm a catch and release kind of girl. I catch the spiders and I take them outside and ask them to please quit coming in here. But we've had a lot of them in here lately. And occasionally, spider bites happen. So this is my spider bite roll-on. And it is a blend. You can find the whole thing in the magazine, but it's a blend of melaleuca, lavender, and cypress oil. And you combine that, of course, with liquid coconut oil or sweet almond oil and turn that into a roll-on to put on your spider bites. It makes a huge difference in the itching and in possible infection and just helps them heal up faster. It doesn't smell good at all. Oh, Eva says, I'm a poster child for Kai's Kaleidoscope article. I wish I read it before I went through all of these doctor's appointments. Eva, huh? Right? I actually went to the doctor 2 weeks ago because my ears were hurting. And I'd been 2 weeks before that. And she said there's fluid behind them, but they're not infected. And that's kind of what my ears do. But my ears rang and hurt for 2 weeks. And I thought, surely this is an ear infection. Went back to the doctor, a different doctor. And again, he said, there's fluid, but they're not infected. This is just your eustachian tubes aren't really draining. And I'm like, well, okay, but my ears are miserable. So I went home and I thought, twice now I've asked a doctor to help me fix this. They have not. Obviously, that's not the answer. Why am I giving all my power away? Look, you guys, I'm a proponent of going to the doctor when you need to go. I am. I'm not anti-Western medicine. I think there's a place for it. But I also think there's a great place for other remedies. And I thought, why am I putting my hands, the health of my ears and my hearing in the hands of doctors right now who don't have an answer for me? Why am I doing this? Why am I relying on them and giving my power away? So I did a little research and decided what essential oils to use. So I used a blend of copiaba and frankincense and rubbed all the way down my ear, all the way around my ears and all the way down and right into the opening. Don't put essential oils clear inside your ear. That is a huge mistake. But you can rub a little into the opening of your ear, especially if it's cut, and mine was, with some coconut oil. And that started to help. I started to feel some shifting, some clearing happening in there. Then I went online and I typed into Google suggestions for helping encourage eustachian tubes to drain. And I found this ENT that has a YouTube channel. And he has a couple of suggestions for ways to manipulate your ears and your sinuses to help with problems, right? So he has this suggestion that's a 20-second fix for eustachian tubes that won't drain. And basically he explained the anatomy of where your eustachian tubes are, how your sinuses and your eustachian tubes kind of get at loggerheads with each other, and especially people with really small eustachian tubes or eustachian tube dysfunction, your eustachian tubes end up kind of in a position where they can't drain. Okay, so I thought that was interesting. So his suggestion is that you take both of your ears and pull them out as far as you can, and then you open your mouth wide for 4 seconds, and then you close it for 4 seconds, and all the while you're pulling your ears out. And you do that about 5 times. And I read through some of the comments, and a lot of people were saying, wow, that immediately started some movement, and I can hear again, and I don't have pain and pressure in my ears. So I thought, well, what the hell? I certainly have 20 seconds, don't I? And so I did his procedure, and I'm not kidding you guys, it was immediate that I felt drainage, my ears stopped hurting, that pressure let up, and I only did it twice. I went through his whole process, and then a few hours later I did it again. I was free and clear for days and days and days on that ear issue. And then it kind of creeped back up on me. And so I did my essential oils again and did those again for a few days and did his process again for a couple of days, and my ears again cleared right out and were fine again. And I'm so happy because no antibiotic, no more trips to the doctor for this one, because now I'm understanding a little bit better what's happening and why. And I took a little power back and put it in my own pocket. I think when it comes to anything in your life, sometimes we're a little too quick to hand the power to somebody else. Now, again, if you need to go to the doctor, go to the doctor. Don't deprive yourself of getting health care. In spirituality, the metaphysical world, I hear about that a lot, and it concerns me, it worries me. Go to the doctor when you need to go to the doctor. However, once in a while, and maybe before you go to the doctor, try your fix. Do some research. That would be very helpful. Arlene, welcome. She's a first-time listener. She said, can you put the link? I will go find it. Yes, I don't have it with me at this moment, but I'll go find it and post it. I was blown away by that. And obviously try it at your own risk, and it might help some of you, and some of you may not have, have a difference from it, but holy cats, it did a lot for me. a lot. And I have had a lifetime of silly ear stuff happening. So awesome. Anyway, so that was a huge sidebar. But again, and so I'm with you, Eva. Before you put all of your eggs in somebody else's basket, see what you can do for you. Alrighty. Then, of course, I want to remind you that we have some new contributors. We have Dr. Elisa, and her article, she's giving us tidbits of wisdom that are awesome. And this one is, the beginning of it is, never abandon yourself, for this is the source of all fear. I thought that was pretty awesome. That's a good quote. That's a good thing to remember. Don't abandon yourself. And then, of course, we get the Magic Monday message from Melissa Caprio, which is awesome. And Jamie Dawn is back this week. So she's going to just contribute to the newsletter once a month now. And so she had a really sweet article this week. So I hope that you have a chance to read that. I really loved her urging for all of us to take good care of each other, to take a look at what's going on with each other and be sure that we are in alignment with what you need and what other people need. And that you are, a helper. And then, of course, the article, our last article, Anita Ahuja. This is our Anita and the Masters article, and she writes this week about Goddess Brigitte. So, very good. At any rate, that's the magazine. If you want to subscribe for it, head over to katie-weaver.com. Right there on the homepage, on the left-hand side, there is a spot that says subscribe. You can subscribe to it, and I'll send it to you every week when it is published. Otherwise, you'll always find it on my website. I put it on Facebook. Lots of ways to find it, but big props to everybody who writes in the magazine. I appreciate you all so much. Okay. Let's head back to the chat room. So Jennifer said, I want to respectfully disagree with you about not getting hurt feelings from other people's vibes. I think we can feel what we are feeling. There's a reason we feel that way, and it's up for us to figure it out. But those emotions are there for a reason. Jen, I'll give you that. I definitely will. I will. I think that there are ones that you can take as a warning. I think there are ones that you can take as a hint as to how you're feeling and what's going on with you. My main point was only that don't let it start a war with you and other people. That's where I used to find myself. And so, but I agree with you that our feelings are ours to feel, and we don't have to stuff them. We can own them. That's true. Okay. Deb says, do you have any suggestions for me? I thought that the divorce mediation went well, but he is refusing to sign the agreement to present to the judge. If he takes too long, the agreement will be null and void. The agreement is required to him to move out of our house by September 1st. Okay, what I'm hearing, Deb, is that you need your attorney to send a very strongly worded letter to his, basically reiterating that if he does not, and this divorce moves on into, to the judge, that you will be demanding payment for all of your legal fees. That basically, that if he doesn't pay, that there's going, or if he doesn't sign, that there's going to be financial hell to pay. So that because that's kind of where, and this is where you hit him where it hurts, is financially. And so make sure that your lawyer is involved and right on top of it, and that he gets the word real quick that if you do this and you proceed this way, we're going to hit you really hard financially. So, because you have been so agreeable and you've stood up for yourself. I know you haven't just given it away the farm. I know you haven't. You've been a rock star at advocating for yourself, and I know it's been hard for you, but you've also been willing to cooperate and be reasonable, and clearly now he hasn't. I actually think he is going to sign. I feel like he's going to take it down to the wire because he wants to be ornery, but I actually feel like he will. But don't put up with any of his BS. Make sure that he knows how much this is going to hurt him if he doesn't do what he agreed to do. Okay, Sean says, my boyfriend and I are considering living together. I have a home. He sold his in his divorce, but is not comfortable moving into my home. He wants to buy. Home prices are very high, so the homes that he's been looking at are not my style. My question is, him moving in, is this the right choice for both of us? Yes and no. That's a terrible answer. All right, here's the deal. What I'm hearing, Sean, is that you guys have got to go middle of the road for a minute. And he's going to have to move into your home for a while rather than immediately buy something together. That is the mistake. And I know you're feeling it and recognizing it, not just because it's the homes that aren't really your style, but because that feels a little too fast. That feels like a little too much, and it is. You're not wrong about that. It is. He has got to find some way here to be able to come together on that. My recommendation is that he does move in with you and that you guys give it a year and consider buying next fall or next early spring when the prices usually, early spring, depending on where you live, winter, early spring is usually when home prices are a little better. His argument will be that they just keep getting higher and so you can't wait any longer. But that could really spell a financial disaster for you guys down the road. I'm with you on that completely. I want to really urge you to trust your gut right now. I can see that this doesn't feel right to you, and it isn't. If he cannot find a way to concede to that, or it's not even concede, right? It's just cooperate. Then maybe the timing isn't right. Because at this point, you both have to be comfortable. And clearly this is taking you a little too far out of your comfort zone. Now, is it possible to do a few things to your space that make him more comfortable? Is there a possibility of a man cave or a shop for him? Is there a possibility of making a few changes in the house that would make him more comfortable and make him feel more like this is his house too? Because it's kind of both things. I feel like he's got a kind of a case of shiny paint, where he kind of just wants a new house and is feeling it and using this as the reason. It feels kind of impulsive, and that's worrisome. But I also feel like he needs to feel like it's his house too. And he's worried that moving into your house, he won't feel that way. So that's where it's at for me, Sean. I'm with you. I feel like this isn't quite right. And that we need to throw the brakes down for a minute and find a way to live at your house for a while and just make sure. Karen said, I was having ear problems for a couple of weeks. I will try the ear pulling trick next time. That's interesting, Karen. I've actually heard from several people lately that their ears are struggling. So I'm curious about the rest of you. Your ears ringing, ear ringing in this current world of spirit, right? Ears ringing a lot of times is the message, and it usually is for me too. But it's a different kind of ring. When my ears ring loudly and insistently and kind of suddenly, that's usually a message from spirit or a message from angels. It usually means I'm not paying attention, which I have to admit I'm pretty distracted because, it's kind of what it's like. But anyway, so there's a difference for me in the ringing, but I'm interested to know that you guys are struggling with that. Okay, Arlene says, are there any messages for me from my guides at the moment? Let's take a look, Arlene. Your guides showed me you standing at the sink washing the dishes. They said that they feel like you get hung up in the motions of all of your responsibilities in your life, and that sometimes you feel like they are the thing that are holding you back, or the distraction that's keeping you from doing the things you want to do. And what they want you to do is they're asking you to start trying to find ways to make the daily things you do a part of your daily ritual, a part of your magic. So things like the dishes. Could it be a moving meditation? Could you be listening to something uplifting? Could it be some time that you kind of take for yourself, even though it is a chore? And I don't think it's just the dishes, but they're looking at you and your life and your house and saying that you need to just continue to find more ways to incorporate the magic that you feel. There's something very witchy about you. I feel like there's some real past life energy in you that feels quite magical and witchy, and that you are trying to find some ways to embrace that, whether you can put words to it or not. So I'm going to ask you to find some ways to incorporate more magic into your daily world in any ways that you can. That's fun. I can't wait to hear what you do. All right. Tammy says, if time permits, I would love to hear from my cat, Susie, who I had to put down last Friday. I want to know she's okay. Tammy, I'm so sorry. I know that's been pending for a while, and she's been a very sick girl. Let's tune into her. Oh, weaving through your legs, rubbing up against your ankles. Tammy, she's just such a familiar for you. She's going to be right in your world, all up in your space, no matter where you're at. She says thank you. She's showing you a lot of gratitude for releasing her from that body. She's just showing me how sick she was. I have a very metallic kind of toxic taste in my mouth when I feel her. Not now, but she's showing me what it was like, what she got to. She said she was terribly thin and cold and such low energy. Yeah, she was so ready. Tammy, she's fine, and she loves you, and she's still going to be around you constantly. But that was the right decision. She wants to confirm that for you. I know. I hope you know that. She wants to make sure that you know that. I'm sorry. Okay, Sean says, great confirmation regarding creating space in my home for the boyfriend. This is the direction I felt to go. Your advice was great confirmation. Good. Good luck with that. And you know, I don't know if he's into it, but if he is, or maybe if he isn't even, maybe you guys do some kind of a house clearing and blessing together, right? That you clear away all of the old energy, do a smudge or whatever feels right. And then the two of you together do some kind of a blessing together. Do some candle magic, or stand outside and walk back in the house together, you know, as a couple, as it being your house together or whatnot. You can get creative with that and think about it, but maybe something that's very symbolic of out with the old and in with the new, right? Okay, good. Okay, Denise said, had a great conversation Sunday afternoon. Know him through mutual friends. Doesn't feel like it will be romantic. What do you see moving forward? Yeah, I'm with you. Though I do feel like he's a neat guy. But you guys are pretty different in your basic ideals and beliefs. You're pretty different. And I feel like he can be a friend moving forward. I feel like the more you get to know him, the more there will be parts of him that become a deal breaker for you in his personal beliefs. Yeah. Okay. Arlene, you're very, very welcome. You're awesome. Okay. Terry said, my ears ring constantly, and if I open my mouth and push my bottom jaw forward, I get high-pitched ringing. Huh. So that's the way it's shifting your eustachian tubes, probably, Terry. Wow. Eva says, ears, oh yes, ringing, pressure, you name it. I'm glad I'm not alone. What the hell? Why? Why are we all having to go through this? Okay. Oh, Tammy, you're very welcome. I love you too, sister. I'm sorry. Helen says, my ears tend to feel pressure, not painful, and it generally indicates a tickle type feeling. For me, this means presence and a someone waiting to speak to me. These feelings have really been off the charts lately. The psychic energy is really high, and it's really fun because we get into the fall, and I always think the psychic energy in the fall is just, and the magical energy is just off the charts. And that that's like when we're just the closest to the other side. Mediumship is not, it's not just easy, it's just normal, you know, during that time of year. And I've really been feeling that pull already, and it's just the first part of August. So what a magical fall season we're stepping into, I think. I kind of feel like the fall equinox is coming early this year. That's pretty fun. So I'm not surprised, Helen, by that at all. Isn't it funny? You really have to start paying attention to your systems and recognize, what does it mean when I feel that? I have a client whose right eye twitches when she does energy work. Anytime she puts her hands on anyone and does Reiki, her right eye will twitch the whole time. And that's how she knows how she can feel the energy flowing through her. Not everyone does that, but some people do, right? So interesting. We could do a whole show probably on what your psychic tells are. We probably should at some point, actually, and kind of talk about it, because it's really interesting when you start paying attention to, what does it mean when I feel this? Sometimes, like with Tammy's kitty, if there's dehydration and like sickness like that happening, I will have a bitter taste or a metallic taste in my mouth. So many interesting things. Another interesting one for me is when there's methamphetamine has a taste to me, a feeling. And if I'm working with someone who is struggling with addiction, or who has someone in their world that is, I can really pick up that feeling of meth. That's really interesting. Maybe it's because I live in a place where meth is really rampant, but it just has a sense to it. Anyway, maybe we should, or maybe I'll do a class and we'll unravel all of it together. Seems like it's just coming up a lot. Okay, Maureen says, may I please have an energy clearing? Just feeling exhausted and not looking forward to take Meg to college. Yeah, it's going to be a big drive, isn't it? Yep, let's do that really quick. We're just about done. Oh, Maureen, I'm going to start at your feet. We're commanding a Merkaba clearing, commanding billions of many points of light to flood your system now, completely healing, clearing, and releasing any energy that you are carrying that's keeping you feeling tired, run down, worn down, and exhausted. Commanding these energies to be healed and cleared and rendered neutral and inert through all directions of time now, through every cell of your physical body, every layer of your emotional body, and every fiber of your spirit body now. And we'll just watch the Merkaba energy flowing through you all the way to the top of your head. A lot of pressure, Maureen, in my low back. A lot of clearing happening right there. That could be affecting how you're grounding, and definitely affect some physical and spiritual and emotional energy. That's worry. That's where you've got worry settling. So these are worries about money. It's also just worries about Meg and how she's going to do in going, and how you're going to do in her going. As much as I know you're not looking forward to this drive, I feel like it's going to be a relief to have this part of this journey over with and behind you. And she's going to do great. Okay. Good. That actually lifted a huge weight off of you, my friend. So we'll just replenish your energy here, and that feels better, a lot better. Okay, good. You know, I have a tip of the week that is the grounding pack. And it's basically, you take a couple of cups of sea salt and a few obsidian and put them in a gallon-sized Ziploc bag and put them under the driver's seat to help them to stay grounded and aware while they're traveling. And I wonder if you ought to make a grounding pack to put in your car, so that that helps you to stay with it while you're traveling, and you know, for whoever's driving the car, because I know it's a big ride coming. All right, guys, we've done it. We've talked to the end of the show. I want to thank you all so much for being here. I want to let you know that, I was going to say you'll find me tomorrow on the Psychic Sisters. Actually, we're going to replay marching orders tomorrow, as Christy and I have a funeral. But then, of course, we'll be back Monday with the 1-2 News Show. You'll find me over at 1-2 Listen for the rest of the night and the evening. And, of course, we're on sale today, so I'd love to talk to you. And there's lots of great radio to come here on 1-2 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.